The fog was wrong. Mara Voss crouched behind the collapsed husk of a fuel transport, eyes locked on the drifting mist that curled unnaturally at the edges. It moved against the wind, ignoring terrain, flowing as if it had purpose. Even in the dim pre-dawn light, she could see it pulse, inhale, exhale, like a living thing. And it whispered. Just under the threshold of hearing. Not words. Not quite. Something guttural. Rhythmic. Her hand gripped the butt of her rifle tighter. She whispered to herself. Not today! She'd seen what happened when the fog caught you. She'd watched a grown man scream until his lungs bled, clawing at his own ears, only for the fog to consume him, bones and boots and memory. Gone. No scream left behind. Just silence. The wail didn't leave bodies. It left absence. Mara's breath steamed through her respirator as she adjusted her pack. The relay tower was only 400 meters uphill. Broken, sure, but still salvageable. Maybe. If she could get power back, she could warn others. Signal survivors down south. Let them know the northern corridor was compromised. If she failed, another city would walk into oblivion. The metal of her boots crunched faintly on shattered glass. Every sound here felt wrong, like it didn't belong. Her earpiece fizzed once, then went dead. The fog was creeping closer. She had minutes. She darted forward. A ruined staircase, still slick from last night's acid rain, led up into the bones of a high-rise. She moved fast, efficient. The weight of her gear and fatigue pulled at her shoulders, but she didn't slow. At the third-floor landing, she paused. Whispers. Closer now. Louder. Like her mother's voice. Mara, come home! She pressed her fingers hard against her temple. That wasn't real. It was never real. The fog played tricks. It knew her name. It used it like a scalpel. The tower came into view, a jagged silhouette jutting out from the ruins like a snapped spine. Half the antenna had collapsed, impaling the rooftop like a spear. Vines, or something that looked like vines, crawled up its length, twitching with every gust. At the base, the access panel blinked faintly. Alive. Barely. Mara dropped to one knee and popped the cover. Inside, the interface flickered like a dying candle. She fumbled a solar patch from her pack and slapped it on the metal, fingers moving with trained precision. Then the wind died. Dead still. Too quiet. She turned. The fog was here. It poured through the broken windows, slithering along the floor in pale ribbons, curling around debris, licking the edges of her boots. Her heart thudded too loud in her ears. And then she heard it. Not just whispers. Voices. Every person she had lost. Her brother's laugh. Sergeant Darren's final scream. Her own name, said in the way her father used to, proud, hopeful. Fight it! She hissed, slamming a fist against the panel. Come on! A tone chirped. Green light. The antenna stirred. A shaky hum rose into the air. The fog shrieked. It was the sound of glass breaking from the inside, of metal twisting under pressure. Mara dropped to the ground, hands over her ears, but the sound wasn't around her. It was in her. Scratching at her skull, clawing behind her eyes. The panel exploded in sparks. The antenna buckled. She rolled to her feet, vision swimming, teeth rattling. Smoke curled from her wrist, her comlink fried. But her HUD blinked once. Signal sent. She laughed, sharp, breathless. Got you, you bastard! But the fog didn't retreat. It surged. A wall of it rushed forward, swallowing the floor, screaming in 1,000 dead voices. She ran. No plan. Just instinct. Down a side corridor, dodging debris, breath heaving. Behind her, walls crumbled, pipes burst, lights exploded. The Wail wasn't a presence anymore, it was a flood. She burst through a cracked door into the open air, rooftop. No escape. The fog rose behind her, taller than the buildings now. And in the center of it, something moved. Tall. Spindly. A suggestion of limbs. No eyes. No face. Just mouths, layered, twitching, whispering. Mara backed up until her boots hit the edge. One wrong step and gravity would do the rest. The creature floated forward. "You're not real," she said hoarsely. The thing opened its many mouths, and her brother's voice spoke. "You left me behind, Mara." Her legs trembled. "I had no choice. You chose yourself." "No." She reached for her sidearm, hands shaking. "You're not him. You're just noise." The thing tilted its featureless head. Then it lunged. She fired. Once. Twice. Nothing. A third shot, into its center mass, and something inside it flickered. A scream. Sharp. Pure. It recoiled. Mara lunged for the backup comm node on the tower mast, slamming her whole body against the emergency beacon. It lit. Blue flame across the sky. The fog retreated an inch. It hated light. She stared at the beacon's glow, the shimmer it cast in the dark sky. She could still hear the whispers. Still feel the weight of the whale's voice in her bones. But for the first time in days, it didn't feel like she was alone. Somewhere out there, someone had heard her. She collapsed to her knees, blood dripping from her ears, breath shallow. But she was still alive. And she had signaled the others. Behind her, in the lingering mist, something whispered. "We remember you now." The beacon still pulsed skyward, but the glow was fading fast, eaten at the edges by the fog. Mara forced herself up, knees buckling as blood trickled from her nose. Her hands shook uncontrollably. Not from pain, from the resonance. The whale's shriek still vibrated inside her bones, like a memory she couldn't scrape clean. She blinked at her HUD. Signal strength, 23%. Auto burnout in, 712. 7 minutes, she rasped. "Gotta move." She limped toward the stairwell access, but the doorway was blocked. The ceiling above had collapsed. Twisted beams jutted through the concrete like rebar claws. There was no way down from here. Her comm sparked to life. Static. Then. "Era. Mara, this is Reaper Base. We read your burst. Say again, are you alive?" She nearly dropped the comm. "Yes," she coughed. "Lieutenant Voss, Northern Corridor. Beacon's live. But the whale, it's here. It's everywhere." Silence. Then a new voice, rough and deep. "Voss? This is Captain Ryle. You sure it's the whale?" She looked at the fog swirling below, slow and patient, waiting. "I looked it in the face. Shit. Extraction's 80 clicks out. We can't reach you in time." "I don't need a ride," she said. "I need them warned. The corridor's not safe." "Copy." Signal confirmed. "But Voss, listen, if it saw you, it knows you now." The line cut. Dead. Mara stared into the silence. It knew her. That line stuck like ice behind her ribs. She forced her legs forward, circling the rooftop until she found an old maintenance hatch. She wrenched it open, metal groaning, and dropped inside. The shaft reeked of mold, rust, and something older, wet leather and spoiled meat. She climbed down. The lower levels were mostly intact, if barely lit. Exposed wires sparked above her head. The walls wept moisture, and the air buzzed like it was alive. Her boots squelched through dark puddles. She was 3 floors down when she heard it again. "Mara!" Her mother's voice. She spun, weapon raised. "No. You're not her." From the shadows ahead, a figure emerged, female silhouette, same coat, same warm eyes Mara remembered from childhood. But the face shimmered wrong, flickering like bad footage. The eyes glitched. Too wide. Too deep. "Mara!" It cooed. "You're tired. You've done enough. Just rest." Her pulse surged. "Shut up. You let me die," the thing whispered. Mara screamed and fired 3 shots, center mass. The figure burst into vapor, splashing across the walls like ink. The fog recoiled. But not far. She kept moving, breath ragged. Each floor brought more hallucinations. Or maybe not hallucinations. Maybe echoes. They followed her, a squadmate's boots, her brother's laughter, Darren's dying cry. All slightly off. Just enough to crack the mind. By the time she reached the base lobby, she was running on adrenaline alone. And that's when she saw the girl. Kneeling in the center of the ruins, small and trembling, maybe 10 years old. No fog near her. Just light, soft and blue, glowing from her hands. Mara stopped. Hey! The girl looked up. Her eyes weren't right. Glowing. Not human. I don't belong here, the girl said. But I woke up when you screamed. Mara raised her weapon slowly. What are you? I was human. I think, the girl whispered. But it took me apart. Left something behind. I've been here, waiting. Watching. The ground rumbled. The fog surged at the far wall, reforming, a dozen tendrils dragging themselves across the ceiling like spider limbs. In its core, that same shape, tall, mouth-covered, inhuman, pulsed like a heartbeat. It's angry, the girl whispered. You heard it. The air shimmered with pressure. Run, Mara said. The girl didn't move. If I run, it'll chase. If I stay, maybe it stays too. I'm not letting you die. You already did, the girl said, voice warping. You left me on station Ceta 3, remember? Mara froze. That was years ago. Classified. Buried. No one knew. You're not real, Mara whispered. The girl's eyes dimmed. I was. The wail struck. The glass shattered. Fog poured in. Mara tackled the child, or what remained of her, and rolled behind the reception desk. The world exploded in sound. Not noise, screams. All at once. All around. The cries of the dead, the betrayed, the forgotten. Her mask cracked. The wail spoke. You carry so much grief. It sings to us. Mara pressed her hand over the girl's heart. A pulse. Then hear this, she muttered. She grabbed the emergency torch from her belt and slammed it into the desk's exposed power node. The flare ignited, a blinding column of white light, searing across the lobby like sunlight through fog. The wail shrieked. Its limbs spasmed. It twisted into itself and vanished, not gone, but scattered. The girl collapsed, unconscious. Mara knelt beside her, breathing hard. Signal gone. Beacon dead. Weapon jammed. Body broken. But the fog, for now, had retreated. She looked at the small figure in her arms. Maybe a hallucination. Maybe a ghost. Maybe a piece of herself. She didn't know. But she wasn't leaving her behind this time. Not again. The girl didn't speak for hours. Mara carried her through the shattered underground corridor, away from the beacon ruins, away from where the fog had screamed and bled. The silence was crushing. Not peaceful, heavy. As if the very world held its breath. They found shelter in an old metro tunnel, half-flooded, reeking of rust and decay. She barred the stairwell behind them with steel rebar and a dented hatch cover. Not that it would stop the wail, but rituals still mattered. They kept the mind intact. The girl lay beside a broken bench, shivering. Who are you really? Mara asked, voice low. No answer. I know you're not just a kid. You can't be. Not if you survived this long in the black zone. Still nothing. Mara sat across from her, cleaning her rifle with trembling hands. The weapon had jammed during the fog surge. It hadn't unjammed since. You were on Ceta 3, she said flatly. That station burned 5 years ago. I saw the flames from orbit. I didn't die in the fire, the girl whispered finally. I died after. When they found me. I wasn't me anymore. Mara froze. They tried to study the wail. The girl continued. They fed it. Sound, pain, memories. It took what was left of me and made something else. You're one of them? The girl looked at her, eyes hollow. No. But I hear them. All the time. Mara set the rifle down, hands on her knees. So you're a conduit. I'm a graveyard. That word hung between them, too real, too raw. Outside the tunnel, the fog was returning. Thicker this time. It didn't surge. It crept. Like it was hunting. Mara stood. We have to keep moving. There's a shelter zone under the old city grid. Cold storage vaults from the war era. If we get there, we can lock it down. Real steel. Reinforced echo dampeners. The girl didn't move. Mara knelt. Come on. You'll leave me again. I didn't know you were alive. Mara snapped. I thought everyone was dead. You think I wanted to live with that? The girl stared at her with quiet intensity. Then prove it. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the tunnel. Not thunder. Not footsteps. A voice. You should have stayed dead. It growled, deep, masculine, familiar. Mara's blood froze. It wasn't the wail. It was Captain Ryle's voice. She grabbed the girl and pressed her against the wall. Shadows twisted ahead. Figures emerged, not fog, not illusions. Humans. Armored. Armed. But their eyes. Black. Glossy. Empty. She whispered. Reaper base. They heard your signal. The girl muttered, horrified. But something else did too. It got there first. The soldiers walked like puppets. Controlled. Bent. They moved with the precision of soldiers, but something beneath the skin rippled wrong. One of them stepped forward. Mara Voss, it said in Ryle's voice. You failed protocol. Your unit died because of you. You let the Wail in. That's not Ryle, Mara said. He was already dead before I sent the signal. The soldier's smile widened, too wide. You carry his voice. I carry the rest. The girl clutched Mara's arm. I can stop them, she whispered. I can make them hear what they are. Mara hesitated. What happens to you if you do that? The girl didn't answer. No, Mara said. There has to be another way. There isn't, the girl said. If I scream, it breaks their tether. They'll die, Mara. Not turn back. Just die. All of them. They're already dead. No, the girl whispered. Not all. Some are trapped. Mara looked at the shambling soldiers. Faces she recognized. Old comrades. Brothers in arms. Then back at the girl. What are you? The girl's eyes began to glow again, pale blue, cold. I'm what's left of hope, she said. And hope hurts. The air vibrated. The fog surged. The soldiers raised their weapons. Mara made her choice. Do it, she said. The girl stepped forward. Then she screamed. It was not a sound humans were made to hear. It wasn't even sound. It was memory, rage, grief, pain, all compressed into a sonic burst that shattered the glass of time. The soldiers collapsed. One by one. Heads splitting. Suits bursting. Their last thoughts released in flickering bursts, mothers' faces, lovers' names, forgotten childhoods. And then silence. The fog recoiled. Screamed. A scream without end. The tunnel trembled. Mara's eardrums burst. She dropped to her knees, blood leaking from her eyes. But it was working. The girl felt too, pale, drained, twitching. From within the heart of the mist, the Wail appeared, no longer majestic or untouchable. Broken. Shattered. Its shape flickered unstable. Its mouth bled light. Its whispers became begging. Return it, it hissed. Return the voice. Mara stood. Shaking. Blind in one eye. She was never yours, she said. She grabbed the torch from her pack, one flare left. She lit it. And she threw it. The Wail ignited. And the darkness howled. The flare ignited like judgment. The Wail recoiled instantly, its formless limbs thrashing in the light. Fire spread through its misted body like veins of lightning. Each mouth opened wide, not in defiance but in pain. Real pain. Its chorus of stolen voices collapsed into a single unearthly howl, guttural and primal. And beneath that scream, silence. A silence so pure, it pressed down like gravity. Mara fell to her knees, body trembling, lungs gasping through blood and soot. She watched as the thing burned, not consumed by flame, but peeled, layer by layer, reduced to fractured echoes. Every soul it had devoured screamed free into the blackness, 1,000 bursts of memory unraveling in midair like vapor trails. Names. Faces. Forgotten lullabies. Final words. Gone. The girl was slumped beside her, eyes closed, skin pale as the fog that birthed her. Mara crawled to her. Stay with me. Her hand hovered. She didn't know how to touch her. Didn't know what she'd touch. I can't hold it back, the girl murmured without opening her eyes. It's trying to pull me with it. I was never meant to exist without it. No. You are real, Mara said. You're not some fragment. You're you. The tunnel shook again. The wail, or what remained, surged in one last violent spasm. Its limbs turned to ash midair. But in its center, one final core remained, a glowing eye of memory, locked on Mara. Watching her. Waiting. She stood. Battered. Bleeding. Hollow. But alive. She reached for her rifle. Still jammed. She smiled bitterly. Of course. She turned to the girl. What is that thing still clinging to? Regret, she whispered. It's what keeps it tethered. Your regret. Mine. Everyone it's ever touched. Mara stared at the smoldering core. Her reflection danced in its surface, not as she was, but as she used to be. Uniformed. Unscarred. Blind to what would come. I remember them, she said aloud. All of them. Not just how they died. How they lived. And with that, she stepped forward. The core pulsed. She felt it, digging into her thoughts. Her guilt. Her memories. It tried to feast one last time. She didn't resist. Instead, she gave. Images surged from her mind like fire. Darren's laughter in the barracks. Her brother's face at graduation. Her mother's voice humming a tune from Earth's last festival. The girl's first smile, under a sky filled with dead satellites. She gave it everything beautiful. And the wail screamed again, but not in hunger. In fear. Light erupted from within it. It couldn't feed on joy. And in that moment, Mara understood, the wail wasn't just a creature. It was a reflection. Born of the dark things humans buried, their forgotten traumas, unspoken guilt, abandoned memories. It survived on what people refused to face. But it couldn't survive acceptance. The core imploded. With a final shriek, the wail unraveled, tendrils turning to dust, voices scattering like leaves, fog vanishing into still air. And then... silence. Real silence. No whispers. No pulse. Just the gentle hum of wind over stone. Mara dropped to the ground, tears carving clean lines through soot on her cheeks. The girl stirred beside her. Is it gone? Mara nodded. I think so. They sat there together, for what might have been hours. The pain in Mara's body was immense, but so was the stillness in her heart. A stillness she hadn't known since Cedar 3. Since the beginning. You didn't let me go, the girl whispered. No, Mara said softly. Not this time. The silence was broken by static. Her comlink crackled, flickered back to life. Mara? Reaper base. Signal reacquired. Do you read? She smiled faintly. Loud and clear. Status? She looked out over the tunnel, now open and clear. A skyline beyond, fractured but visible. The wail is gone. A long pause. Then, say again? Gone, she repeated. It's over. How? Mara's eyes flicked to the girl, who now stood tall, eyes no longer glowing, just tired. Human. It remembered who we were, Mara said. And it couldn't handle it. The calm was silent. Then, evac teams en route. Stand by. She closed the channel. Outside, daylight was breaking. For the first time in years, the sun pushed through without distortion. No haze. No flicker. Just light. The girl looked up at her. What now? Mara stood, wincing but steady. Now we rebuild. We remember. And we fight for the living. The girl nodded, took her hand. And together they walked out into the light. Not to survive. To begin again. Final line. The world didn't end when the screams started. It ended when we stopped listening to each other. And maybe, just maybe, it begins again when we start.